Hello, my beautiful Piscean friends. I am, as always, super excited to sit with your energy. I love Piscean energy, and I would say it's one of the ones that in my lifetime I don't have any Pisces placement in my chart. I do have Neptune in my first house, though, and I love this energy, and I'm always fascinated by it, especially when I think about Pisceans so often have to, and this is a generalization, so often have to morph to survive culture, being in the physical world, find defenses, to find ways to survive, just to like be in this world. And like Pisces are some of the people that I know, like as beings, trying to live in this physical world with some pretty solid spikes. I would say, like, the Pisces has an edge and a clarity that I think is sometimes underestimated when just generally thinking about Piscean energy. But when I think about Piscean energy, when it gets to be relaxed, when it gets to be in its natural state, when it gets to be expressed from a place of safety and grace, it is so freaking cool. It is just super magical, super powerful. It's a place to be. It is where the party is happening, I think. And so, with that in mind, let's talk about this August. I'm getting goosebumps. Woo. Oh, energy has been moving so intensely through me recently. Because I've been getting unblocked after realizing I've been really speaking of like trying to survive in culture, like I've been a little energetically blocked for a little while, like a year. So coming back here to August, this is a really important month. So Jupiter is now back in Aquarius. It just left you all at the end of July. I wonder how that was doing for you, the little preview of Jupiterian energy in Pisces. I love it. It's so healing and so good. But now that we have Jupiter back in Aquarius, Saturn's obviously in Aquarius, and we're going to have this big bright full moon in Aquarius, we're back to 12th house energy being highly amplified for you all. Back to the message that's been coming up all year, which is how do we healthily bring Piscean energy into the world so that it can help us, because it is so misunderstood and it is so countercultural. It is an energy that is often kind of put on the back burner as not desirable. Like even when you think about like corporate environments, which corporate environments value kind of that Aries individualist go-getter attitude, which I'm not denigrating Aries, by the way, but at all. I love Aries energy, but it's as an archetype, when you're just focusing on that as a culture, it gets imbalanced. And to be more in touch with the unseen world, the energetic world, how do we live a meaningful physical life here, connected to others in the world, doing things, sharing, adding to the conversation in a way that honors Piscean energy and gives it a voice in a healthy, empowered way? And that question comes back to me so many times, like probably every day I think about this question, actually. I'm going to get emotional about it. I don't know why. I'm filming these in Cancer season, so which is also one of my favorite energies. But this month is really powerful. So we have the sun moving through Leo, obviously, which is going to be 6th house energy for you all. Noticing your rituals and routines. How is that helping you to explore bringing your Piscean energy into the world in ways that feel good to you? We also have that full moon in Aquarius, which is highlighting your spiritual gifts, as well as Saturn and Jupiter being there. This month is also interesting because we have all outer planets retrograde. Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus on the 19th. So Uranus will be joining Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto in retrograde. And this gives us a chance to incorporate everything that we have learned in the first part of 2021 and to get ourselves prepared for 2022. So it kind of gives us a clear view. We also have a lot of energy moving through its like home sign. So sun moving through its home sign of Leo. Mercury moving through its home sign of Virgo, Venus moving through its home sign of Libra. So we have a lot of symbiosis. Like planets are in places they like to be, and the outer planets are helping us incorporate. So this is a very spiritual month for you. And I have always had this sense that August is like getting the chessboard set up. Not that I think of life as a chess game necessarily. That would make me really uncomfortable if it was. I wouldn't like that very much because chess stresses me out. But setting the table. I always like that image of like setting a table in a forest and having it be like this magical kind of like fantastical forest feast, and there's vines growing everywhere and there's these beautiful plates and like there, just the suggestion there's going to be these beautiful sumptuous dishes and like each one's going to reveal new flavors and it's going to be this whole odyssey, right? So we're setting the table in August in really important, meaningful ways. Now, of course, for you Pisceans, I should start shuffling. We also have energy moving through your opposing sign of Virgo. So this is mirror season. Magician, hello. Speaking of magical forest feasts, I feel like the magician is out there with his magical like stone arch and all his accoutrements sitting there on the table. Page of Pentacles. So we have energy moving through your opposing sign of Virgo. The Sun, Mercury, Venus for part of the month, which is mirror season, as I call it. It's a beautiful time to see yourself from a different vantage point, to get kind of like, who am I now? How is it feeling? Is it working for me? This is a wonderful month for calibration. Knight of Swords. A wonderful month of clarifying communication with others. A wonderful month of being able to see things for what they are and to hear your soul. All these things are great, I think, in a time that can be, just as I say clarity, Five of Swords. Oh, our dear friend, the Five of Swords. So this is really interesting because what I see here is a story. When you look at these cards as they go through, we start with the great self-knowing. To me, the magician, yes, he's a great creator. He's high energy. And when you see him here, he's almost like a dowsing rod or, it's a conduit, right? He's letting the energy move through him, right? Which to me is the Piscean way in some ways, right? Even though he's very electrical and wild, the magician, this is a great confident creator who is getting still enough to let the energy move through him and to take inspired action, right? Actions that feel really true. Rather than filling our lives up with busy work, the magician is not busy. He sits still quite often. He sits still more than he does. But when he does, it moves so fast, right? So this is a very confident energy of creation. Very confident energy of showing up fully on our life map. So are the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. Both of these show up with an offering of support and clarity, of physical support and cutting through the BS. Honestly, Knight of Swords can be a bit unedited, but can also help to get straight to the point without, kind of avoiding it, right? So these two are very confident as well. And then suddenly we have this deceitful, uncertain, insecure energy that shows up in the reading. And I find that really interesting. Five of Swords is often associated with like a backstabber, right? Somebody who, quite literally, this guy is the epitome of a backstabber, right? He's stealing all the swords. He's sneaking around on these dudes who are just hanging out. But I think the thing with the Five of Swords is that we don't really know what's going on in this scene. We have no idea why these men over here are crying or looking away, why he's collecting the swords. We don't know, right? And there is a paranoia that comes with the Five of Swords. And here's what I have to say about this. Five of Swords is something that we fall into when we betray ourselves, right? Like when we know that we have something we want to offer up or say, for example, right? And we don't say it. And suddenly we can't tell, like, okay, is that person secretly pissed off at me because I haven't heard from them in a few days? Is that person trustworthy? Because I don't know, like maybe they want to be in my life, maybe they don't, right? We start to go into all these circles when we don't just say, hey, here's my boundary. Hey, here's what I need. Hey, here's what I prefer. So what I'm seeing here is we see three very confident energies. They're like, I'm creating, I'm going to say the truth, I'm going to just be myself in the world. And then we have this, maybe I need to shrink back. This also makes me think about like life growth. I feel like there's this myth that is just kind of around, right? Maybe it's just like what we wish it was, but that if we are following our soul's path, right? Like we're doing the creative thing we want to do, we're being in the relationships we want to be in, we're doing the travel we want to do, whatever it is, that it's just going to feel really comfortable because it's our right path. And what I have found in all these years, and I'm going through this right now because I'm really following my soul's path. I'm moving to another country. I'm working very hard at studying my new language and being a toddler / 7-year-old. I'm getting deeper into the relationship that's meant for me, and it all feels amazing. However, it has asked me to be courageous with myself and my presence in the world in ways I have never been asked to do so before. Never. And there are days when I'm like, maybe I should shrink up. Maybe I should get small. Maybe I should hide. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe all these people really secretly are annoyed with me, right? I think it's very natural for this part of our mind, the one that wants to control, the one that wants to keep us safe, the one that wants to, hide, to try and come in and keep us safe, the bolder we are in just being ourselves. And it's so interesting because when I say bold and being ourselves, like sometimes I think we think it's got to be this like theatrical showing up to a dinner party and like taking up all the air in the room. But for me, self-belonging, being yourself, showing up in a room, just belonging to yourself. And that can mean that you are maybe somebody who's a little quieter, or somebody who's a little chatty, or somebody who's very silly. However you show up to let yourself be that, there is a vulnerability in that, but there is also such a deep power in that. And you're getting asked to do just that. You're getting asked to be that magician. I think the magician's kind of a weirdo. This guy is not doing things the way that would traditionally be done, right? He is kind of a maverick. He's a little bit wild. He's connecting the dots with all these different realms. He's just being who he is. And so are the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. These cards also speak to me of that clarity that August is bringing, right? There is this setting up of the table, setting up of the feast, where we're getting those infusions of energy, where we're getting those infusions of clarifying conversations. Now, here's the thing. If you're willing to show up and state your preferences, right? Whether that be in a romantic relationship or in a work environment, or just even to yourself and your relationship to yourself, and to make those adjustments, which is a really wonderful, supportive month to do that. It's like one of those perfect months to do those tweaks around your house or in your routine, for Pisces specifically, that will really just amazingly let your energy flow. So, have fun researching whatever comes to mind as far as that. Play with it, adjust it. If you show up though as your full self to this table, unafraid to share your preferences, not because you're judging other people or you're forcing other people to do what you need to do, just saying who you are and what you want, you are going to find that this month is very good for you. But if you choke yourself down, push it down, depress it down, this kind of 5 of Swords paranoia may feel much more present for you. So there is an invitation here. And like I said, how do we healthily express Piscean energy in the world? How do we let Piscean energy be much more present at the table? Because it is so important. Piscean energy is essential. It is an essential ingredient of this whole thing that we're in, this universe, this world that we're in. We need it. So, and that's a riddle that I'm still, how do sensitive people in general show up to the world in ways that are sustainable for sensitive people, empowering for sensitive people, and that make impact? I'm still working on this riddle. I know many other people are as well, as we kind of explore our culture, right? And each of us is probably going to have a slightly different answer for how we, as sensitive people, want to show up. And you're getting an invitation here in August to do just that, to do that sleuth work, to really ask that question every single day and work it out so that you can show up as that magician, so that you can show up as even that Knight of Swords, that truth bringer, without feeling like you're undercutting other people or taking away from other people, or like you need to retract it. It is scary to be vulnerable. There will be vulnerability hangovers where you want to slurp it back in. But as long as you are just expressing who you are in the world without trying to force other people or, do any of that kind of mental gymnastics, there's value in it. And so that's the message. That's the message. I don't know. You guys, I love you so much. I'm going to do a little toast to you this August because it is a very magical time. So invite that magic in as well. Let the magician come in. Open the door to your own inner magician. Let the magic flow. Truly, this is a very powerful, potent month. I wish Pisces joy. I wish you a feeling of safety, creativity, exploration, and that you can be your full self. I wish you to be surrounded by those that support you and love you and help you feel like you want to develop, you want to belong to yourself more, you want to do all this stuff in life. I wish you just so much joy and so many beautiful visions to come through. And I wish that your Piscean soul will feel joyful, creative, and peaceful this whole month. I love you guys. Cheers. You can obviously find me on Patreon, where I'm really working at sharing more of my personal journey and where I am sometimes getting very stuck and where I'm feeling more open. I'm going to be talking more about this whole fact that I've had seriously blocked energy that I was kind of in denial about for a year, and how I'm coming back out of that. So I would really love for you to join me. It might be helpful for some of you out there who have also struggled with this. But either way, I'd love to see you there or here. Obviously, please stick around, like and subscribe, hang with me. It's such a meaningful, special moment I have with you every month. I'll leave all my links below so you know where to find me, including where to find me on Instagram. And I love you guys. I will see you very, very soon, my beautiful Pisces family.